Thank you for joining us on another edition of National Focus. I'm Pearl Fontaine. In the headlines, VIECA's water supply project is outlined and discussed with community members. Government's Housing Revolution program touches the life of a St. Joseph resident, and ballast water management, the focus of a two-day workshop which commenced here on Monday. Stay with us for details of these stories and others after the break.
If you can believe this,
come by my house and let me show you some movies.
why can't you believe this? Some mothers don't believe their own children when they say they've been sexually abused, and they don't report it. Remember, if anyone asks to see or touch their private parts, touches them inappropriately, shows them or forces them to touch one's private parts, has sex with them, shows them pornographic material, or deliberately lets them hear or see the act of sex, then it is sexual abuse. Believe your child and report the sexual abuse. For more information about child abuse, contact these agencies. This message brought to you by UNICEF and this station.
Welcome back. Details of the VIECA's water supply were revealed and discussed with the residents of VIECA's on Monday evening when the parliamentary representative held a community meeting in that area. Attended by the Minister for Water Resource Management, DOWASCO officials and engineers, as well as Village Council officials, the event provided a forum for residents to dialogue and share their concerns. The constituency's parliamentary representative, Prime Minister Honourable Roosevelt Skerrit, explained to his constituents the reason for the delay in executing the $1.3 million undertaking, for which funding was already secured.
Yes, we could have done this water project long time ago because I'm also the Minister of Finance, and I, as Minister of Finance, have the authority to decide how monies are apportioned. But at the same time, I must also recognize that I have a greater national responsibility. So it's not because I am from VIECA's that I must spend all the money in the treasury in one village called VIECA's. I have to be able to reach out to the other needs of the other communities. And when the decision came for me to decide whether I do the water project in VIECA's or in Pennville, though I am affected by the water shortage sometimes, because I have my home here. I don't live in Montbruce, as you know, I have my home here. So the water problem affected me too. And I decided in a deliberate manner to do the Pennville water project first because I felt that there was a greater problem there at the time to address. And once we would address the Pennville water problem, then we would come to VIECA's to fix it.
General Manager of DOWASCO, Bernard Etinoff, outlined the details of the massive 5-month project, which is set to commence in December.
The works to be undertaken here in VIECA's will include the construction of 2 new intakes, each of 30,000 imperial gallons each. Storage tanks, 2 concrete storage tanks, each with a capacity of 30,000 imperial gallons. It will include improvement to the existing intake, which, by the way, has quite a bit of water, reasonable quality water. For that reason, to ensure that the quality that gets to your homes, we'll be improving that intake and ensuring that adequate water treatment is embedded and incorporated into the project. It includes the replacement of the supply line that is from the intake to the storage tanks, and the distribution lines from the storage tanks to all the streets and hamlets from which your service connections will be made. We are pleased to let you know that the product will last for about 5 months. So it means that 5 months from inception, you would have a completed new water system serving the communities of VIECA's.
Etinoff revealed the intention to use all local expertise on the VIECA's water supply. That plan was endorsed by Honourable Skerrit, who subsequently urged skilled and able individuals to register with the Village Council to get involved on that employment opportunity. The parliamentary representative issued a few words of admonition to potential employees on that project.
My call on those who will be employed is that you must always do what you do with pride. You know, it cannot be just do it just like that. It has to be done with pride, that when somebody looks back at your work and asks who did that job, because they want to meet that person to commend him or her. So you must always do what we do with pride in this community and across the country. Because I think, in large measure, a lot of us are without that very important element. That we have to have a great sense of pride in what we do and how we do what we do.
The nation's Minister for Water Resource Management, Honorable Reginald Austrie, carefully explained that while developing the island's water system is costly and not directly profitable, the move is absolutely necessary.
It's costing us over $4 million to do the Ben's water supply. And the revenues generated from Ben's is $8,000 on an average a month, sometimes less. So if you have to recover the $4 million that we spend in Ben's, many of you here will be long gone and we still would not have recovered the cost of bringing water to Ben's. And that's just one community. And I said to you that it is a challenge for the government and for the people of Dominica to bring water to all those little communities. But I can probably say to you that one of the Millennium Development Goals is to ensure that 100% of the world's population, or in Dominica, would have potable water by 2015. With the commission of your water supply, and that of Savannah in Scott's Head, and the Bell's Penrice water supply, which will get on the way, it could be this year because I think funds have been identified or made available, Dominica will be the first country in the world to have 100% of access, where the people of a particular country have 100% access to water.
Parliamentary representative for the area, Prime Minister Skerritt, remarked on the developments which have taken place in the constituency under his leadership. We'll bring you more on that story in Wednesday's newscast. The government of Dominica has taken steps to ensure that proper mechanisms are put in place to monitor the safe handling and disposal of ballast water within the island's marine environment. Ballast water, typically discharged by cruise ships and large tankers, contains a variety of biological materials, including plants, animals, viruses, and bacteria, which could have a negative impact on the marine environment. On Monday, the Maritime Administration, the Ministry of Ports, in collaboration with the International Maritime Organization, began a two-day workshop at the Fortune Hotel to inform and update stakeholders on the latest developments of the Ballast Water Management Convention. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Public Works, Energy and Ports, Luce Blackmore, in addressing the opening ceremony, said the issue of ballast water poses significant biological, environmental, as well as economic concerns for islands like Dominica, hence the need to be proactive.
And as you know, we are the Caribbean, we are all island states, and we are surrounded by water. The issue of ballast water is a very critical one because from almost 120 years ago, at the advent of the steel-hull vessels, ballast water was one of the most economic means of ensuring there was proper stability for the chic ocean-going vessels. While we recognize that at the same time it poses serious environmental challenges for us, and we want to ensure at the end of the day that special focus is brought to bear over the next 2 days in terms of the monitoring, the compliance, and enforcement issues that we'll have to ensure the safe handling, the safe use, and of course the proper disposal of those water.
Blackmore further explained that it is important that Dominica keep harmful invasive species away from its marine space.
We know that we have seen over the last 3 years the challenges posed by microorganic aquatic life that poses all kinds of marine situations for us, from the standpoint of pollution, from the standpoint of ensuring sometimes you have invasive species being brought from one area of the ocean to the next. So we want to ensure that what happened to us in the Caribbean, as a collective, we are very mindful of the best practices. So I'm really looking forward to the next 2 days that the various experts in the field will really share the lessons, the knowledge, and experiences with us. So at the end of the day, we in Dominica will be brought on board to ensure that we fully endorse and update and of course uphold the convention.
Dominica's Minister for Ports, Honorable Rayburn Blackmore, welcomed the staging of this week's workshop, saying that it is critical that the island's marine environment is preserved.
It is therefore in the best interest of mankind to ensure that the marine environment is preserved and protected so that vessels can operate in both a safe and protected environment. At this juncture, permit me to compliment and to commend the organizers for organizing this workshop. And ladies and gentlemen, your effort, therefore, will help to further enhance the marine infrastructure that is so critical to our contemporary existence.
Following the two-day workshop, it is hoped that Dominica would have early ratification of the Ballast Water Management Convention, which seeks to prevent harmful aquatic organisms and pathogens from impacting the country and the region. In other news, the life of Mary Benjamin of St. Joseph will be drastically changed once she moves into her newly constructed two-bedroom home. At present, the home she lives in is not suitable for her as she is blind. Kelva Daru, the Honourable Parliamentary Representative for the St. Joseph constituency, told GIS News recently that he recognized the plight of his constituent and decided to assist her.
Well, this house is, to me, very dear to my heart. The reason for that is because it belongs to a blind, unemployed, single mother who is also sick. And you have seen where she lives on the other side. And to me, this is very heart-touching to me to have this project being completed. And the reason for that is not because of any political thing, but sometimes you have to touch the lives of people. And to me, these are the projects that really matter to me. And I felt it necessary as a member of parliament and as a friend to the family to ensure that this house could have been completed for this lady. This house is a two-bedroom house with washroom facilities, toilets and shower, kitchen, and also a living room area.
Through government's Housing Revolution program, many lives have already been touched. Daru thanked the contractor and pledged to continue to work in the best interests of his people.
And I take pride in this house because you can already see the difference compared to where she's staying currently. And I want to really commend the contractor and his team for their efforts. I believe this is a model of housing in St. Joseph. And as a member of parliament, I will continue to work in the area of housing development for my people, because there are a lot of persons within the constituency who need housing assistance. And this, I believe, will go a long way as an example, a shining example, when it is fully completed, to see the works that this government is serious about the living conditions of people.
The $35,000 home, which was constructed by contractor Rev St. Charles, says given Mary's situation, he felt it necessary to assist her. He reduced his rate and built this home Kudme style, according to Honourable Kelva Daru.
You have to have a soft heart and, love for the people that you could do those things there. That don't just come just like that, You have to have the feelings, yeah. So I know these people long, and the kid's father is my friend for time, and so I think I should give them an aid on that, Yeah. So that's what we're doing now, hoping that we can see it looking like something in a couple of days again, yeah.
The St. Joseph MP also spoke of government's thrust to rid the island of pit toilets, to which he says St. Joseph is not exempt.
The government is also embarking on a serious program to provide washroom facilities to get rid of pit toilets. And St. Joseph constituency will be one of the constituencies that will benefit tremendously from this program. We are now putting together the list of some of the persons who will require these facilities. Of course, we'll not be able to do everything at the same time, but we will start with some persons, and as time progresses, we'll continue to see how many persons that we can help.
Management of the Grotto Home for the Homeless is looking to expedite work on the new Grotto Home facility being constructed in Bellevue Roll with a view to relocating residents to the new site by the second half of next year. Residents of the Grotto home in the meantime have been occupying the old Dominica Club, which is becoming cramped, dilapidated and uncomfortable. Members of the board of directors of the Grotto home, Parry Bellett, says work on the $2.4 million facility has been ongoing since 2012. The government of Dominica recently made available $100,000 towards the further construction of the home. Bellett says government through a number of agencies has been providing support to ensure that the home is ready at the soonest possible time.
So we're trying to push the early completion of this facility, but it's been quite a big undertaking. It's a project costing about $2.4 million. And unfortunately, in this environment, both locally and abroad, it's not an environment with a lot of money available, even for good charitable works. But we're pushing and we're getting assistance from time to time. And we're encouraged by just recently, the government is encouraging some of its departments to cooperate a little more in terms of providing, for instance, heavy-duty equipment with some of the grading that's supposed to be done in some of the building up some of the early facilities.
Bellett says due to the urgency of the situation, the board has decided to approach the project on a phased basis. He said the focus now is on completing temporary living and kitchen facilities at Bellevue Hall.
We're going to use, for instance, our basement here in one of the dormitories to have sort of emergency kitchen facilities. That being, we're hoping sort of within 6 months or so, we will be able to move the residents here and also accommodate some of what we call paros and so on in the town to come up here for regular feeding, and that might keep them away from town, certainly when the tourist ships are in and so on. So government is trying to facilitate that. As I say, we hope that can be completed in about 6 months. And after that, by that time, we'd have accumulated more funds that we can get into our more permanent facilities.
President of Dominica, His Excellency Charles Savre, paid a visit to the new Grotto home last Friday, where he had the opportunity to tour the site and get a better appreciation for the work being done. The Grotto home for the homeless is home to 48 residents. In more news, the Alpha Center, with the assistance of faithful partners in its 39-year existence, continues to provide a valuable service to children with special needs in Dominica. The Alpha Center, established in 1974, now located on McIntyre Lane in Goodwill, is one of 2 schools in Dominica catering to special needs children. The President's Charities Foundation has been lending support to the organization over the years, and last Friday made a monetary contribution towards the continued maintenance of the school. The presentation was made by wife of the President, Mrs. Charles, to Claudia Bellett. President Savre thanked the institution for the valuable contribution it provides to children with special needs in Dominica. Bellett, in accepting the donation, said thanks on behalf of the management, staff and students of the Alpha Center.
We thank the President's Charities Foundation for the past donations that have been made to the center, and I want to assure you that these donations have really assisted us to enhance our program here. We will take a very short tour of the center at the end, and you will see some of the results and the fruits of your donations that have been given in the past.
In speaking to the 30-plus children of the Alpha Center, President Savre called on the children to use their varied talents to make their lives more fulfilling.
Although you are children with special needs, everybody has a talent, everybody has skills, and it is to nurture those skills and those talents and to bring them out so that they can in turn be used by you to create for yourselves a life which is not too negatively impacted by the needs which you have. I am sure that your parents are extremely grateful to the center for the care, the attention, and the opportunities that are presented to you by the work of these dedicated teachers.
The president was presented with a token of appreciation for his generous donation. He was given a wooden paper towel holder made by a student of the Alpha Center. The president and his wife ended their visit with a tour of the facilities. They also got to view the varied work of the talented children of the Alpha Center. And that's all for the English segment of the news. McPherson St. Luce is next with the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non, moi, c'est McPherson St. Louis. Premièrement, ministère énergie Honorable Ribbon Blackmore, représenté Dominique en conférence énergie qui prend place en Barbade. Sinon, Honorable Blackmore, projet énergie géothermique Dominique, recevez attention.
Pour énergie à Dominique, bien haut tout bonnement, avec un fait difficile pour Dominique avancer. Il a fait difficile pour nous ni business qui ça investe à Dominique pour employer monde. Et bien, vous savez, les premiers ministres là, tu vas adresser pour indépendance. Et des Dominicains, nous allons mettre plus lentement à effort nous en géothermal. Comme ça, nous commençons à faire ce qui est production et reinjection well là. Eh bien, nous avons dit que nous avons fait à présent, nous avons fait certains, nous bâti un petit plan géothermal. So, pour l'énergie qui baisse tout bonnement. So, ça c'est ça, les bons partis gouvernement, ça, les fait pour Dominique, pour avancer Dominique. So, nous gardons mesures, nous sommes mis en place, au conserve Dominique, nous avons avancé, et nous en géothermal. You can get Dominic un pays qui est bien sérieux il faut ça. So, moi je suis bien content pour représenter Dominic ensemble avec le ministre Howard Belize et le ministre Howard Babad.
En autre nouvelle, département establishment qui continue 27 public one or more service pour travailler gouvernement. Plaisir de vous taper trainement ou là vous participer à un workshop jeudi. Madame Lydia Capitole, c'était une de ces gens là qui conduit le workshop là.
Nous avons parlé pour tous les employés et nous avons montré comment ils ni pour bas service et quality, quality service, ils ni pour respecter les gens, les gens viennent en place gouvernement pour taper service. Nous savons Dominique nous ni autant monde qui même si yo pas qu'à travailler, même si yo bagay pas qu'à marcher, boy avec yo, mais là yo vini en place gouvernement, nous tout ni pour treat them comme yo c'est moun, et by yo quality service, even if yo vini en place là, et yo ka fait toi, yo les bagay, et yo les vite, yo ni bad attitude. Nous passons à même bad attitude là. Nous pour respecter yo et bayo service là en manière qui a fait establishment pour proud.
À la nouvelle, le gouvernement Dominique a commencé à travailler à ce système de l'eau neuf pour Viecaz. Premier ministre et puis membre parlement Honorable Roosevelt Skirt, ministre management de l'eau Honorable Reginald Austrin et puis manager Dowasco Bernard Etinoff. C'est une discussion et puis résident Viecaz Lady où là projet l'a discuté en détail. Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skirt fait parole que projet là était derrière, mais quand même merci bon Dieu et qui commencé en décembre l'année là. Honorable Skirt a aussi créé à ses résidents Viecaz pour prendre l'avantage et puis contacter village council taper travail à 1,3 million $ projet ça. Projet ça qui voit gros tank bâti qui est expecté pour un service de l'eau par tout le monde en Viecaz. En même temps aussi, le ministre du management de l'eau, Honorable Reginald Austrin, fait parole que le management de l'eau est autant cher, mais est bien nécessaire pour tout le monde l'eau. Le ministre Austrin aussi fait parole que par l'année 2015, toute l'occasion en Dominique, c'est posé de l'eau potable. Finalement, l'organisation OECS Export Unit tient un workshop qui mettait attention à cette industrie créative la semaine passée. Workshop ça là tient à une manière avancée industrie créative en pays OECS.
M. Sobers Esprit, c'est officier qui est en charge pour l'industrie créative en OECS.
Nous avons fait un travail et puis compagnie et puis artisans qui travaillent dans l'industrie culturelle dans ce pays OECS là. Nous avons un premier workshop en Saint-Vincent et puis semaine passée nous faisons ça en Dominique. Nous avons Madame Hord Université West Indies qui a conduit workshop ça là. Ça nous avons fait, c'est nous avons travaillé et puis moun pour voir comment nous avons manager, compagnie, manager travail dans différents aspects de culture. C'est musique, c'est les films audiovisuels, c'est fashion, la mode, et puis artisan. Et puis ça, workshop ça l'a fait, c'est bamoun on leçon ainsi comment nous ça préparer pour faire cette qui travail là nous qu'a fait, c'est un premier travail.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle en créole pour à présent. Non moi, c'est McPherson et Luce. Au revoir.
Coming up next, the tip of the day.
Do you have uncovered water storage drums around your home? Do you dispose of old tires, cans and old containers capable of holding water anywhere in your environment? Are you being bitten by mosquitoes, particularly at dusk and early morning? Do you keep houseplants in water? Do you spend your hard-earned cash to control mosquitoes? Has your community experienced dengue fever outbreaks? If your answer is yes to at least 3 questions above, you are at risk to dengue fever. Join the fight against dengue fever. The responsibility for a dengue-free Dominica lies with you. So, get rid of the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
Maintaining healthy fitness isn't always so easy. The key to staying in shape isn't just what you eat. You have to exercise 3 or more times a week for at least half an hour, unless you have a medical condition. When starting, always remember that you should be able to make a commitment to set aside time for exercise and set a goal you want to reach when staying in shape. Set realistic goals for yourself and don't get discouraged if you feel that you cannot perform as well as you'd like. If you are constantly working out, you'll gradually see and feel changes over time, but it won't happen overnight. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. You can drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website at news.gov.dm. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Fontaine. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.